EastEnders, Whitney and Zack's explosive wedding fallout and Whitney's big decision. Whitney Dean and Zack Hudson's wedding on EastEnders has provided us with some of the most gripping drama in recent memory. The ceremony, which began with such promise, quickly descended into chaos. As Whitney stood before her loved ones, reading her heartfelt vows, the atmosphere was shattered by a revelation from her best friend, Brittany. The bombshell that Zack had been unfaithful, not just with anyone, but with Whitney's other close friend Lauren, sent shockwaves through the room. This revelation set the stage for a dramatic confrontation, leaving viewers stunned and eager for the next episode. The fallout from this disclosure was immediate and intense. Whitney, overwhelmed by the betrayal, lashed out violently. Her fury first turned towards Lauren, whom she physically attacked, before turning her rage on Zack with a stinging slap. The intensity of the moment was palpable, as Whitney stormed out of the registry office, leaving a trail of shocked and worried onlookers in her wake. Brittany, who had been the bearer of the bad news, feared that Whitney might resent her for revealing the truth. However, in a poignant exchange, Whitney reassured Brittany that telling the truth was the right thing to do, affirming their bond and showing the depth of their friendship despite the tumultuous circumstances. The drama didn't stop there. Overhearing the conversation between Whitney and Brittany, Bianca was stricken with guilt. She had known about Zack's infidelity for weeks, but had chosen to keep it a secret. Faced with the reality of the situation, Bianca confronted Zack, pleading with him not to expose her complicity in the cover-up. She was desperate to preserve her relationship with Whitney, even as the web of deceit continued to unravel around them. Later, Zack sought out Whitney to explain his actions and to confront the fallout from his betrayal. During this visit, Whitney learned the extent of his manipulation, discovering that Zack had emotionally blackmailed Brittany into silence. Despite a brief moment of connection, as they shared a tender interaction with baby Dolly, Whitney's resolve remained firm. She told Zack that their relationship was irreparably damaged, and she could no longer trust him. This heartbreaking decision was made with her daughters in mind, prioritizing their well-being over her own feelings. Amidst the emotional chaos, Whitney received a bittersweet piece of news. The long-awaited certificate of baby loss for her daughter Peach arrived in the post. This overdue recognition brought a sense of closure during an otherwise turbulent time. Determined to move forward, Whitney visited Sharon's to hand Zack the certificate. Despite Martin's attempts to mediate, Whitney made it clear that there was no future for them as a couple. The next day, Whitney and Zack went to register Dolly's birth. Although it was a beautiful moment that should have been filled with joy, it was overshadowed by the reality of their broken relationship. Upon her return, Whitney shared her feelings with her ex, Callum. She expressed how she wished things had turned out differently, reflecting on what might have been. Tensions between Whitney and Bianca reached a boiling point when Bianca unnecessarily picked a fight with Callum and criticized Whitney for leaving Dolly with Zack. The argument dredged up past grievances and complicated emotions. However, Whitney eventually apologized to Bianca, asserting her need to make her own decisions, including the decision to confront Lauren directly. The confrontation between Whitney and Lauren at the Vic was both intense and heartbreaking. Lauren attempted to explain that her betrayal with Zack was meaningless, a mistake born out of a bad place in their lives. However, Whitney was unmoved. She declared their friendship over, comparing Lauren to her deceitful father, Max. The conversation quickly escalated, and Whitney threatened to throw a drink in Lauren's face. Though she ultimately decided against it, Bianca, ever the firebrand, stepped in to do it for her. In a candid moment with Callum, Whitney opened up about her fears and uncertainties regarding her future. Callum, always supportive, reminded her of her strength and encouraged her to take control of her life. This conversation proved pivotal as Whitney pondered over her next steps. Finally, Whitney made a monumental decision. Gathering Brittany and Bianca, she announced that they would be leaving Walford for good. She envisioned a fresh start, away from all the heartache and betrayal. "It could be a fresh start," she said to Brittany, "away from all the mess, just you, me, and Dolly." This declaration marked a significant turning point in Whitney's life, suggesting that she was ready to move on and find peace away from the familiar streets of Albert Square. As Whitney packed her bags preparing to leave Walford, fans were left to wonder if this truly marked the end of her journey on EastEnders. Will Whitney find the fresh start she's looking for? Or is there one final twist waiting in the wings? The dramatic developments of these episodes have left us eagerly anticipating what comes next for Whitney Dean and her loved ones. In this roller coaster of emotions, from betrayal and heartbreak to the hope of a new beginning, EastEnders continues to deliver compelling drama that keeps viewers glued to their screens. Whitney's decision to leave Walford is a bold step, and only time will tell where her journey will lead. Stay tuned, EastEnders fans, because the drama is far from over.